Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Welcome back to an opening day edition of the Hardge Knocks Life right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. That's right, folks. Opening day is today. I'm so excited. As I said, at this time in the next hour, we will have Jared Sandler of the Texas Rangers talking about opening day, raising the banner, and of course, the Rangers defending their crown. As we've talked about before, I want to make sure that we give a special shout out to the folks over at Cover 3. That's right, they're helping us with our Zone Cover 3 Bracket Challenge. There's a lot of people that are having a good time over at Cover 3. You can catch all the game action as well as great food and appetizers. As I've told you before, Cover 3 has now started a social hour. It's not only a happy hour, it's called a social hour from 3 to 7. You get $4 off Carbach beers, margaritas, $5 margaritas, $6 wells, $7 food from the kitchen, and of course you get wine at $8. Make sure you go to the local Cover 3 because there is a Cover 3 near you. So I wanted to talk about the Texas football team as David Benda and Quinn Ewers got a chance to talk to the media yesterday, and it is it's quite refreshing when you start to see a bunch of these guys and we finally get a chance to talk to the players, because normally at this time in a camp, we're talking to the coaches and trying to get everything through the coaches. And it's been a lot of fun talking to Coach Sark. As I said, we've got different levels. And as this goes on, Thursdays or normally the days, or Wednesdays normally the days that we get a chance to talk to the players. But David Benda, who's been in this program for quite some time. As I told you in the last segment, he was a running back, he was a linebacker, then he went back to running back, then he went back to linebacker. He was just becoming one of those guys that was very versatile. But for him and the growth that he's been able to handle at the linebacker position, the changes that he's been able to do, and now being in that leadership role, it's been very, very impressive to watch this young man go. But now his linebacker coach is now the new head coach at a different school. Coach Choate has left, and now he's the head coach somewhere else. And now you had to bring in a different defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator. So the adjustments, the timing, the conversations, the way that things are being addressed, they've obviously changed. But David Benda yesterday got a chance to talk about what the new coach, Coach Nesson, has been able to do for him. And that's cool. And those are some of the things that you want to hear from him. Those are some of the things that you want to see as this starts to happen, because the maturity level and the lessons that are being taught are some things that he wants to tap in and learn a little bit more about himself. Those are the moments that you continue to sit there and say, hey, man, this guy really, really gets it. And now he is becoming that pupil of somebody that really is putting the time and definitely dialing in to him. So now you start to look and say, okay, well, who are some of the dogs on this team? Well, one of the ones that he continues to talk about is one Anthony Hill. I like that about him. I love the fact that Anthony Hill is becoming that player. Now, he was a freshman All-American. He's done so many different things, and his time on the 40 acres are going to be something that's probably going to be legendary. You know, he's been getting a tutelage from Derek Johnson. They've been spending time together, the College Football Hall of Famer and All-American, everything for the University of Texas when he was here. still the Kansas City Chiefs all-time leading tackler. But when you sit here and you're watching this Texas football team, you got to go sideline to sideline. You got to be able to have some speed. You got to have some thumpers. This time now you're going into the SEC, and everybody wants to talk about the big bad SEC and what they are and what they're not, right? Well, now you're a part of that. You're a part of that history. You're a part of that lineage. This is a huge, huge move for the Texas Longhorns. Well, with that move, you got to bring some guys with you. And another guy that has been very impressive in his time when he's healthy is Mo Blackwell. And David Benda talked about what Mo Blackwell brings in that room as well.
Understand little football tidbits, so I feel like Mo is going to grow tremendously. He's already a hard hitter, but he's getting smarter with the game.
That's what it's about. You got to see guys get better. And that's the only way this program is going to continue to rise. The only way this program rises to where the expectations are is if they're able to do that. Get better every single day. Now, we talked about Coach Sark and what we thought about him and during that time, and you start to believe that, hey, he's got this thing headed in the right direction. The boat is rowing in the right direction. So when you get a chance to see that, you start to believe in that. And a lot of people still believe that Texas is going in the right direction. And one of the guys that always seems to be in the corner of the University of Texas is Josh Pate. Josh Pate of CBS or 24/7, I don't know which one it is, but I know it's under that CBS umbrella. He does great work. And he talks a lot about what's going on in the Big 12. He talks a lot about what's going on in the SEC. But most importantly, he talks a lot about the University of Texas. And he gave high praise to Coach Sark and what this university is starting to do. That's what it's all about. The expectations are given to you because of what you've been able to achieve up until this point. Now, I know there's still a lot of fans that say Texas barely even won the Big 12. What makes you think they're going to go into the SEC? It's because of what they're building. They're building depth at every single position. They're building the format to being a successful team for, I'm not calling it a dynasty, but I don't believe that Texas is going to go back to that moment that every single year you were wondering what was going to happen. This is better than that. This is one of those moments where things are starting to change. You've got guys like a David Benda where you've seen the growth. You've seen him get better. You saw Anthony Hill. That's a top recruit. That's a first-day draft pick. If he can stay healthy, his entire career at the University of Texas, which means he has 2 more seasons after this. I mean, 2 more seasons left on the 40 acres. You recruit a guy like a Colin Simmons. You have Tavondre Sweat, who started at this program, and now he's leaving as one of the best to do it. He's got awards to back that up. You have a Byron Murphy. You have 11 guys that went to the NFL Combine, the most by the University of Texas. And there's been a lot of players here. In a short period of time, what has been built is exciting for the University of Texas. Now, we're going to be critical when we need to be critical. There's going to be some games where you're like, man, Mike, I don't want to hear all that rainbow. I don't want to hear all that butterflies. I want to hear facts. And you're going to get them. But what you're starting to see is the building and the foundation building blocks of a program that is going to be in the conversation, regardless if it's a 4-team playoff, 12-team, 16, whatever they want to do. The Texas Longhorns are going to be relevant moving forward. So buckle up, whatever fan base you are. If you're not a Longhorn fan and you're tired of hearing about the Longhorns and how they should be doing this and should be doing that, on the football field, these guys are in the right spot. He's got his staff. He's got recruiting. He's got the players. He's got the support. And he's getting everything he needs. I was talking to somebody the other day about this. And I work in healthcare. And our biggest job in healthcare is to take care of people. But how do you do that? You have to make sure you have the right people in place, the strongest team you can put together, and make sure they have all the resources to be successful. And if we give them everything they need and they can't get it done, then it's time to move on. So Texas is providing all the resources. There is no stone that is being unturned when it comes to the facilities, the nutrition, the players, the faculty, every part of your staff that you've needed has been put together. Now you got to do like DJ Khaled. All you do is win, 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 no matter what. And if you can get that done, then this university, as I was saying, is moving in the right direction to make sure that that decade of not knowing what bowl you were going to, making that trip to San Antonio, making that trip to H-Town, now you can start making sure that you're getting your tickets on the road and flying to all these different destinations. Because now going to the SEC, it is going to be lit. And if those players can act like that and they can get everything going, it's going to be a fun ride to be a Texas Longhorn fan, and not very fun for some of those other fans. When we come back, we got Fab Five legend, my man Ray Jackson. Ray Jackson will be joining us to talk NCAA bracketology, see who he has winning, and of course, we got to ask him how's he doing overall, because he's got a young kid that can hoop as well. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Ray Jackson of Fab Five fame joining us next right here on the Hardge Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Hardball Hardge? Text the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. Now back to the Hardge Knocks Live on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Welcome back to the Hardge Knocks Life right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. I am Mike Hardball Hardge, my man Khalil, doing his thing behind the glass, or not behind the glass anymore. He's actually sitting right across from me. But joining us on the hotline right now is a man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He's one of the coldest players to ever come out of Austin, LBJ. He does a ton for the community, but a lot of you maybe remember him with his time with the Fab Five at Michigan. He is the legendary Ray Jackson. Good morning, Ray. How you doing, brother? I'm glad you woke up with me, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about March Madness. Obviously, I want to get into the conversation about your son, Ray Jack III, because my man is out there balling. But I also want to talk about what you do for the community, because I think that is something that a lot of people truly don't understand. You work hard to make sure that these kids get opportunities that a lot of them don't have the opportunity to get. And one of the things that you have been doing lately with our man Bobby Mack and a couple other people, y'all been holding a little locker room conversation to where you guys can give some messages and try to help enlighten a lot of things with these people. And that's what it's all about. I mean, I appreciate you spreading that word and that gospel, because a lot of times in the communities, everybody is always trying to look at somebody else and say, oh, he don't have this, he don't have that. So it's always something that is going on. But for me, the way that you've always blessed every single kid that has come around you is something that I think a lot of people miss out on, because giving back is something that you take a lot of pride in. We're talking to Ray Jackson, lifetime Austinite, LBJ legend, is somebody that has done unbelievable work in the community. Let's get into the NCAA brackets, man, because there's so much craziness that is going out there. Right now, my team is still in it. I picked North Carolina to be the eventual champion, but I know a lot of people picked Houston. I know a lot of people here picked Houston because of Jamal Shead. What have you been watching in the NCAA tournament that takes you back to the times when you were balling out?
No, and then I'm also pulling for Jamal Shead, even though I picked in my bracket UConn. I just like something about the Hurley man and how he coaches. But I love the Shead family. My son has spent the last 2 summers playing for the Shead. And what I've enjoyed most is what I tell the people, the camaraderie with my teammates, but to see Shead's father and mother and family on TV. The parents, when I could see Jalen's mother, my mother, Jimmy's parents on TV, it was the biggest blessing out there, bro. Like, we brought our families together. We brought the state of Michigan together. And then we also, being the Fab Five, we brought the country together, So it was a big thing.
And talk about that too, because a lot of people get on teams and you don't always have the same vibe, and you don't always have the success that they've been able to have. And you look at what Kelvin Sampson has built with that University of Houston team, coming into the Big 12 and winning the Big 12 outright, just like putting it on people, getting a number 1 seed, and just the way that their team goes about their business. It's real impressive to watch.
I mean, it is. But, you know, he preaches toughness, man. He's a real disciplined coach, something a lot of coaches get away from. And he encourages his players, you know. Calvin is one of those coaches that's going to stay on your butt. He's going to coach you hard. He's that father figure away from home. And the tricky part is he knows the game. His X's and O's are phenomenal. So just watching him over the years when he was at Oklahoma, even had a stint at Indiana, we were just lucky to get him in the state of Texas.
And what he's been able to bring has been something that a lot of people have been desiring in their programs for quite some time. We're talking to Ray Jackson, former Fab Five member, and somebody that does a lot. He does basketball camps here in Austin. He does a lot for the community. He's doing a locker room sit down where he gets to educate folks on things out there. I know something that y'all was talking about just recently was social media and how it's playing such a major part in the recruiting, but it's also playing a major part in the failures of a lot of these kids too, because they don't understand once it's out there, it's out there. But Ray, I want to continue this conversation. Talk about your son a little bit. A lot of people know that he is one heck of a basketball player. He's been doing everything that you've been asking of him and his coaching staff. But the one thing I've always said about you, you stay out the way unless they come and ask you for your help. And I've been real impressed with that.
Yeah, well, I wish they would ask me for my help sooner. Like they don't ask us enough. Those that have lived it and done it, they don't ask us enough. But I'm very impressed with my son, man. I tears in my eyes the last couple of years to watch him perform on the court and do the things that he's done. We've traveled the world, basically the country, with AAU basketball, and to finally see him put it together was a true blessing. You know, we're in the process now of picking the best option for him moving forward, whether it's prep school, JUCO, or what have you. I just want to find a fit like we discussed with Calvin Sefton, where he can get coached hard and he can grow as a man on and off the court. You know, that's my biggest thing, because life after the ball is more important than life with the ball.
And you and I both know that. That's why we have to continue to do the things that we do to make sure that our kids get those opportunities. Before I let you go, I wanted to talk to you about, you know, the Fab Five. Everybody seems to be getting back together. I've seen that you guys have been making those trips back to Michigan. Unfortunately, they made some changes with Jawan, but you guys as a family, y'all are starting to roll back together again. And we even got a chance to see Chris Webber make a play back at Michigan.
It was a blessing. You know, it's been great, man. And that was the biggest turn of starting the year, is bringing my brothers back together and coming back together. I mean, it's on us now. We spent years apart, and now we're able to community together and, you know, start some businesses and business opportunities together and build and grow, man. It's at the right time. We all turn 50, so we stand Fab at 50. And also, you know, I had to put this on it. A lot of people been calling about the Michigan job and Juwan getting fired. We have no animosity towards the University of Michigan. They've been great to us. We celebrate them. We celebrate Coach May's new opportunity at the University of Michigan. And we continue to push forward. It was an unfortunate season for Juwan because he had open heart surgery leading into the recruiting period. So he was unable to recruit even the portal, the high school level, to get periods in. And he wanted to coach, being the fighter and dog he was, even though he needed to sit out this year. So he continued to coach. We struggled, had a hard season this year. They went a different direction, but Coach May is going to help us get back to where we need it. And there's no animosity. We thank Michigan for the opportunity, and we continue to love and support the university and move forward, man. So just the Fab coming together is turning the page, and we're going to do some great things in each one of our communities, from Austin all the way to Chicago to Michigan. So be on the lookout for the Fab Five doing big and bad things in the community.
Well, I know that's right. I want to thank you for joining us, Ray. I'll touch base back with you, especially when we find out what's going to happen with your son. I appreciate you, brother. And as always, I'll talk to you soon, bro. Appreciate you, bro. There he is, Ray Jackson. When we come back, we're going to talk a little baseball, because it is opening day right here on the Hardge Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone. I like the Rangers, baby. Later. Later.
The Craig Way Show with the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
It's that time of year, folks. That's right. You need to make sure you get ready for opening day. Opening day is today, and we will have Jared Sandler on with us to talk about the Texas Rangers as they defend their crown. And I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to go to the iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. It's back in Austin. That's right. May the 4th at the Moody Center. You'll have performances by Jason Aldean, Jelly Roll, Old Dominion, Lady A, Riley Green, Ashley McBride. But what you need to do is go get your tickets. It's almost sold out. There's a select few tickets that are available, so you don't want to miss the iHeart Country Festival at the Moody Center May the 4th. Go get your tickets. Sign up at Ticketmaster.com. That is Ticketmaster.com. I wanted to talk real quick about the baseball, Major League Baseball. Shout out to my man Ray Jackson from the Fab Five being able to do his thing and come on and talk about everything in the March Madness. But opening day is today, and the Rangers will host the Chicago the Chicago Cubs tonight, and the Astros will host the Boston Red Sox. The over-under wins this year for the Rangers and Astros are a little bit different. The Rangers have an 88.5 over-under. The Astros have a 93.5 over-under. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking that the Rangers, the reason why their numbers are down is because of the fact that, hey, they are living high on the hog right now. So they have done everything that they could possibly do. They won a championship. Are they going to be as hungry? Whereas the Astros, they believe, are definitely hungry. There's a lot of guys that are playing for contracts. There's some money that is out there. So they're expecting the Astros to be focused. But our question is, who is going to win? Go over to AM 1300 The Zone on Twitter. Our question is, who is going to win the AL West? Is it going to be the Rangers? Is it going to be the Astros? Is it going to be the Mariners or the Halos? That is the Angels, for those that are wondering. I am truly believing that it's going to come down to, again, between the Astros and the Rangers, but I believe the Rangers are going to be able to hold off the Astros one more time. You can tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. You can tell me I'm wrong. I would love to see it. But the way that this thing is going to play out is going to be interesting, because how much drive and determination do the Rangers have after winning the World Series? Bruce Bochy is not going to let them be complacent. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, two of the best middle infielders in Major League Baseball. And oh yeah, they brought up that hot stud, that young player named Wyatt Langford, to try to battle for Rookie of the Year. I already put my money on him. Who'd you put your money on? Well, hour number 1 is in the books. Coming up in hour number 2, matter of fact, right around the corner, we're going to hear from Quinn Ewers. A lot of maturity in that guy, and there's a lot to be desired when you start thinking about, can the Texas Longhorns make a run in the playoffs in football? But, of course, we got Jared Sandler and David Pierce in hour number 2. Don't go anywhere. The Hardge Knocks Life rolls on right here on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studio,
Let me see
AM 1300, The Zone. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports, podcasts, and music.
You want 46 to 49?
Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone presents the Hardge Knocks Life with Mike Hardball Hardge.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Hardge Knocks Life right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. In hour number 1, we had the Fab Five legend, my man Ray Jackson coming on and talking to us, letting us know what's going on and who he thinks is going to be the NCAA champion. He picked UConn. I picked North Carolina, and I hope that we get a matchup to see who does get a chance to win that national crown. We also talked a little bit about opening day. That's right, folks. Opening day is today, and the Rangers get a chance to defend their crown, and they're going to raise a banner. So coming up in the next segment, we're going to talk to our man Jared Sandler so he can tell us what his expectations are from this Texas Ranger baseball team. At 8:40, we will hear from the Texas Longhorns head baseball coach, David Pierce, as they start a 3-game series in Manhattan. Yeah, Manhattan, the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas, as they take on the number 1 team in the Big 12 right now, the Kansas State Wildcats. But right now, I want to talk to you about my man, Quinn Ewers. That's right. The quarterback for the University of Texas met with the media for the first time in spring practice. And let me tell you this, Quinn seems to be very excited about this team and where he is as a player. But one of the things that I was very impressed, a very mature answer by one Quinn Ewers, was the fact of, why did you decide to come back? What made you say, I'm not going to enter the NFL draft. I want to make sure that I stick around, and this is where I want to be. So let me know if you like this answer by my man Quinn Ewers.
Because this is what you dream of. Since I was a kid, I always wanted to play in the
And that's what he needed to do. He needed to enjoy it. For him to say that he just needed to slow down, because everything in his life has been moving pretty fast. You start to think about, he left school early in high school. He missed his entire senior year. Then he goes to Ohio State. He gets there late, doesn't really get a chance to compete for the starting position. And then he leaves there. He was only there for a semester. And then he comes to the University of Texas, and then he gets thrown into everything, dealing with an injury. And now he's just sitting there, and you start to think, well, what happened? What happened with him? What is going on with him? Well, now, last year, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to make sure that he gets some weight, and we'll hear about that. But the main thing for him was just that maturity level in what's going on. And somebody asked, what is your motivation? What truly, truly motivates you when it's time to get down to business? And that's a good part about the camaraderie on the team, the motivation from last year's loss, what they saw. Now it's a whole new football team. Now some of those leaders are gone. He now has to become the leader. He has to step up, and now he gets a chance to get after it. But then he was also asked, you sit there, and during these times where you are truly trying to figure out, am I going to the NFL? What made you not go? He talked about slowing down and just enjoying the ride. But there were some things that happened that he needed to figure out. And why did these things come apart for him and be apart for him? Because he said he has good people in his corner that will help make some good decisions. Be in that moment and help those guys in that locker room and give them those moments to where they are trying to figure everything else out. You start to look at it and you say, all right, he's got this thing figured out. But number 48 on this one was the one that I really dove into, because him making decisions to be back, him making decisions to be the quarterback for the University of Texas and not go to the NFL, This was huge. And big decisions are huge right now. I mean, you talk about deciding whether you're going to go to the NFL or if you're going to stay at a university and have some unfinished business. Now you're losing a lot of talent around you, but you're also gaining a lot of talent. And I talked about that all the time. I talked about how this program is getting better and better because of the fact of who they're elevating, who they're bringing in. The coaching camaraderie is so important for staff and the personnel that are involved with the staff. When you got a player that is coming in, you're thinking to yourself, is this going to work? And I believe it has to work. It definitely has to work. And that is why some of these deals continue to happen. But one of the things that I talked about a few weeks ago, everybody was asking me because I got a chance to see Quinn and talk to Quinn a little bit just because of we were running in the same circle that day. I was like, man, he looks good. He looks like he's put on some good weight and the change in the body. And Quinn had something to say about the weight and what he needs to do to play at a better weight. He was about 220. He had that mullet weight. And that was when he was still eating Chick-fil-A every day. Remember, he had to take his diet and he changed his entire diet and what he was going to be able to eat and how he went about it. Now there's a way that with the nutritionist and everybody that is involved with him, now they find ways to make sure that he's getting that good weight. As Coach Sark talked about in week 1, the first day of practices, when we first met with the media, he talked about the fact that there's some guys that got some weight on them, but during the natural training in which they're going to do the running during the summer, the weight is going to start to fall off a lot of these guys. You definitely have to look at the fact of what's going on with them, how they're going about it in this football team. But I look at Quinn Ewers as the quarterback of the University of Texas. I think Texas is in the same good light that they were with Sam Ehlinger when Sam Ehlinger was coming back after those years, where he had 3 years as a starting quarterback. Texas is in a good spot. And I know Quinn's upside may be a little bit different than what the upside is for Sam Ehlinger, but Sam is in the NFL. Quinn has the potential of being a first round draft pick, high first round draft pick. And the other part about it is he got to perform in front of a lot of coaches and NFL personnel when he was the one throwing the footballs to Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell. So he got some exposure in front of those people, and they got a chance to see this young man go to work. As always, I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in to the Hardge Knocks Life. But coming up next, we got our man Jared Sandler of the Texas Rangers. He's coming on to talk to us about opening day, what this means to him, and can they repeat as World Series champion? You don't want to miss it. Right here on the Hardge Knocks Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
by using the iHeartRadio app talkback feature. Now here's Mike Hardball Hardge.
As they call me Hardball Hardge, they call me that for a reason because it is baseball season, and no better way to kick off opening day than having my man Jared Sandler of the Texas Rangers give us a call and get him on the line because we got to find out what's going on. What's up, Jared? I always enjoy talking to you, man, because you have so much insight. You've been around the game for quite some time. You obviously love baseball. That's why you got into the business. But this is a different year for you. You're coming off, the Texas Rangers are coming off a World Series victory, and now they are world champions for the first time. And now it's a little bit more pressure on this baseball team. Do you look at it that way, or are they more relaxed? And that is the interesting part about it, too, because I opened the show earlier in talking about how the Rangers over under is 88.5 and the Astros are 93.5. And I attributed it to the World Series hangover. Let's just say that, right? That's what everybody is always looking at. But I like what you said about the way that nobody is looking at this team is taking a lot of the pressure off of them. And people keep forgetting that they have Bruce Bochy in that dugout, who seems to be one of the master motivators when it comes to getting guys ready to play. We're talking to Jared Sandler. You can follow him at Jared Sandler on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. But I sit here today and I think about opening day and what it means to everyone. It's so different for a lot of people. But there's a special player that is going to be participating in an opening day for the first time in the major leagues. And it's only after 44 games in the minor leagues. And that's last year's number 4 overall draft pick, Wyatt Langford. He's been nothing short of amazing during his time already, also in spring training. What are your expectations for this young man?
Have some ups and downs like Coach Rookie, almost everything. So he had a great spring, and a lot of excitement about Wyatt Langford. And overall, he's going to have a really good year. And whether it's Evan Carter or Wyatt Langford, I expect that the next week Rookie of the Year is going to come from Texas Rangers. But I guess maybe I'm just trying to overcorrect some of the dialogue I'm hearing about how he's Mike Trout or he's Willie Mays or he's Mookie Betts. And, maybe one day he will be talked about in the same conversation in terms of his production. But he hasn't played a major league game yet, and I just think that fans, I hope fans have realistic expectations. I'm not saying he's going to have a down year by any means. I think he's going to have a really good year. But if he's not Mookie Betts or Mike Trout right away, that's okay too. He's 22 years old, and I think he's got an incredibly bright future. And there's just things about Wyatt Langford, the way he moves, the athleticism, the body, the way he carries himself. Where if you want to put a lot of money on a guy to live up to expectations, to live up to hype, it seems like Wyatt Langford is pretty good at that. He can stay healthy. And, I expect him to be a middle of the order, high leverage hitter for this ball club, and do some really good things. But like all rookies, I think there's going to be some adjustments, and I think that the league is going to have a better understanding of how to fix for him after a month or two. And he's going to have to show that he can adjust to the adjustments made against him by Major League pitchers.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I put money on him. I put it on him to be Rookie of the Year. So I did that already. So I just want to put that out there because I've been very impressed with him from day one. Somebody else that I've been very impressed with is Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Now, Corey's coming back from an injury. Josh Young is coming back from an injury. What are you seeing or hearing about both of those guys?
It was always expected, even if not 100%. I think the expectation was always that Josh Young would be ready. I think there was way more of a question about Corey Seager, but Corey seems good to go. They played in 3 straight exhibition games, the final game in Arizona, and then 2 games in Arlington earlier this week, and they did so without any issue. I think it helps that there's an off day tomorrow, so I think one of the misnomers when you're hurt, you're not really good like you're rested. When you're busting your tail to get ready to play and you have to go through that regimen, you're working pretty hard too. And so I think for those guys, the off day yesterday and the off day tomorrow helps and will help get them sort of acclimated and eased back into the workload that will be asked of them. I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys maybe DH or get an off day early on just because there's no reason to overexert them. But yeah, I think that they are. I think that they are both ready to go. And with Corey Seager, I think it's really neat that you see some of these rankings, Major League Baseball, players get voted in like 3rd best player in baseball. He's starting to get the recognition and appreciation that he deserves. He had one of the best seasons all time last year by a shortstop. The only shortstop in history that had a better and then you just look internally at the Rangers. They're only 3 seasons of a guy hitting at a level with an OPS north of about. The 2 of them are owned by Alex Rodriguez. You can put an asterisk next to those if you'd like. And the other one's Corey Seager. He had a better offensive year than Juan Gonzalez ever had, like Rodriguez ever had, and Rafael Romero ever had. When you look at just the effectiveness, not just the pure counting stats, but the rate stats and the way he did his damage in a little more than 115 games. His season was pretty remarkable. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I'm gonna tell you something that I loved everything that you said about that because he was very impressive and continues to be impressive. I had Chipper Jones on last week, and I said, who would you pick to represent you? Like, who would you say resembles you? And he said Corey Seager. and he said the numbers that he was able to put up and the way that he goes about his business. And I told him, I said, I've never seen a shortstop fill out a batter's box the way that Corey Seager does every time he steps in there. He just covers every single pitch. So you're spot on with your analogy of who Corey Seager is and what he's been able to do. Josh, I know you're a busy man. I know you got some things you got to do, and I appreciate you jumping on with me. Jared, I want to make sure that I get you on again to talk about this a little bit more a little bit later. Always, always. There he is, my man, Jared Sandler. And he does an unbelievable job when you start thinking about what's going on with the Texas Rangers. We had a great time in spring training last year. I didn't get a chance to go to spring training this year because we got a new job. Your boy was, trying to get his feet set over here at AM 1300 The Zone. But Jared does an unbelievable work. You can always hear him and follow him on social media at Jared Sandler on Twitter. He's right when he talks about Corey Seager. Corey Seager was somebody that I was a big fan of when he was with the Dodgers. He's MVP in the postseason twice. Just every time he shows up, he makes things happen. And him and being in the middle of the lineup, you wouldn't know if he was 0 for 4 or if he was 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. He just seems to get it and get it done every single time. And you got Marcus Semien right there in the middle. And I thought it was interesting, too, what Jared said about the fact that you start looking at this team and the expectations aren't very high. They're not looked at to be the team to win the AL West. And as we were talking about just a little while ago, when you start looking at who is the favorite in the AL West and who the fans believe is still going to be the champion, in our votes on AM 1300 The Zone, make sure you get over there on Twitter. It has the Rangers as the team to beat at 55%, Astros at 40%, Angels are getting some love at 3.7%, and that's because they got Ron Washington over there. And if Wash is the coach, some good things are going to happen. But they just lost Shohei Ohtani. They lost some bigger pieces that were involved in the organization. So we'll see how that plays out. But the entire move, especially in baseball right now, is you got to make sure you're healthy going into the season. You got to be able to give some guys some rest. And I know it sounds crazy to give guys rest at the very beginning of the year, but you start looking at, if you want them later, you might have to rest them early because of that fact. But the Texas Rangers are ready to go. I know the Houston Astros are ready to go. And as we talked about, the Astros are the prohibitive favorite, especially when you're looking at 93 wins are the expectation of the Houston Astros, 93.5, as they take on the Red Sox tonight at Minute Maid. The Rangers are hosting the Cubs. They're raising the banner tonight. There's a lot of festivities that will be going on for opening day. And again, like I told Jared, this is a different year, different type of situation for the Rangers. They won the World Series last year. They won the World Series. Let that sink in. And now they're going to get another opportunity to defend their crown, even though a lot of people don't believe they can do so. Well, coming up next, we've got the head baseball coach of the University of Texas Longhorns, David Pierce. They are already in Manhattan, boots on the ground in Manhattan, and he will preview the series against the Wildcats, who are number 1 in the Big 12 as of today. Texas, number 2. Don't go anywhere. David Pierce of the Texas Longhorns right here on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
The Zone. Watch the show live on Facebook and YouTube each morning. Now here's Mike Hardball Hardge.
It is opening day in the major leagues, but in the Big 12, baseball has been going on for quite some time. And joining us, as he always does, right here on the Hardge Knocks Life at 8:40 is the head coach of the Texas Longhorns, David Pierce. Good morning, Coach. I'm doing well. You guys are starting a big series in Manhattan, Kansas this week, starting it early as we were hoping for because of Easter weekend. K-State, the number one team in the Big 12 as of right now, the Texas Longhorns right behind them. What are you looking forward to this weekend? Yep. And that is definitely something that you have been talking about since the beginning of the season. You've had those moments where it looked like things were going to be very consistent, and then you had a little lull here and there. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is now that you're having to play a Thursday, Friday, Saturday matchup, you bumped up each of your starting pitchers because of that. What does that do for the pitching staff? And obviously, LeBaron Johnson being the experienced pitcher that he is, getting game one, I don't think the one-day move up is going to change anything from his pitching performance, correct? And so when we're talking to David Pierce, head coach of the Texas Longhorns baseball team, as they make the trip up to the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas, as they take on the K-State Wildcats. When you're on the road and you're looking at this matchup against K-State, their ERA is not the best ERA overall. So you in your mind as a hitter, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get some pitches to hit. We're going to be able to drive some runs in. We're going to have to do some other things. But what is the approach that you normally would take when you get ready to prepare for another team?
start breaking down K-State. And behind the scenes, we actually do that on Tuesday as well. Moving into Wednesday on the road. And that's all it is. All they need is stuff, meetings, homework, and practice. And then we also have meetings this morning, do breakfast, and then try to get a little rest time in the middle of the day as we kind of put the final touches on our reports. And then we'll have a position meeting going into here in Boston, the stadium. So, it's a full day. It's not sleeping in and hanging out and walking the streets. So, just trying to prepare a guy to use as much of the popular information. So, we look at a pitching staff, he pitched really good in the bullpen. And so, and often we feel like we got to get quality of back and we'll get after the quality of early. Try to get a lead early. And we're always trying to do that. Offensively, this is the interesting part because their turf is real bouncy. And he get the ball in play, get it to a hole, and then the wind can play a factor, whether it's going in or out. And we have at least two different winds this weekend. And then you have some twilight that you get with it. They have the LED lights, so we get a lot of pop-ups last night. Just working through anything possible, get familiar with the ballpark, and then get enough rest, get enough information, have all our reports and preparation, and then it gets to, see baseball, hit baseball. That's where we want to get to into executing. And then doing that for 9 innings, really be tired of the game. And really, it's all about that kind of prep. But once you get into game time, it's really, I'm looking to process information, process it, and really not overthink. Just trust your instincts and go play with good instincts.
Yeah, we're talking to. No, it was actually good. I liked it because it gives the people a look in the inside. I think you and I have had this conversation before, Coach, but I want to regroup on this question right here. Is there too much information that can go in there sometimes? Yeah, because I know that there's so many. Yeah.
None of that really matters. You don't have the right mentality. You're not competing on the mountain and box. It just doesn't really matter. So that's always number one. And the information is more for coaches to use the players. When you look at positioning, there's a lot of shifting this time. Players are done, full shot coaches, they said operators. It's all just about information. And then when I look at the gap, when I look at hitters, Gordo and I sit down and I start from the feet up, and I just on one side of the moves, on one of the three pass, and just connect the numbers and connect the data to straight drive. So, okay, add that to the pitcher we're throwing, type of build, conditions, wind conditions.
There he is, the head baseball coach, breaking it down. David Pierce, as they get ready to start a big series this weekend, or starting tonight, right here on AM 1300 The Zone against the K-State Wildcats. Coach, as always, good talking to you, and best of luck this week. There he is, David Pierce. When we come back, I want to make sure that we give you ticket prices. That's right. It's open today. I got to give you ticket prices at some of these ballparks, and you're not going to believe it. Or maybe you do. Right here on the Hardge Life on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
is the Craig Way Show. Join Craig Way weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. only on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Want to send a message to Mike Hardball Hardge? Text the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. Now back to the Hardge Knocks Life on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
We had a lot of baseball conversation, and rightfully so. But right now, I want to have a little conversation about the iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. It is back in Austin, folks. Tickets are going fast. Make sure you get your tickets for May the 4th because they'll be performing at the Moody Theater. Not the Moody Theater, the Moody Center. This is who's going to be performing. Jason Aldean, Jelly Roll, Old Dominion, Lady A, Riley Green, Ashley McBride, and so many more. Make sure you get your tickets or go to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets for the iHeart Country Festival. I wanted to talk a little bit with you right now about ticket prices since we're talking about tickets. Opening day is so special. Everybody wants to go, depending on your team. Some are affordable, some are not. Let's talk about the Texas Rangers as they host the Cubs tonight. Average ticket price, and this is by tickpick.com, $285 for opening day. You start looking around the major leagues, you go to Houston, and I've been saying the Red Sox. They don't play the Red Sox yet. They play the Yankees. How did I not know it was about the Yankees? But the Yankees and the Astros, $83. That's affordable right there. But you know what ticket is the most affordable? I know you're probably thinking the Oakland A's because this is their last year there. They're trying to leave. And you're thinking, man, I can go to the Oakland A's game. I might even get in that bat because there's not going to be that many people at the game. Yeah, the Guardians at the A's, $19 to get in. $19. Well, you heard me say $13, right? That's the lowest one. And it is the Pirates at the Marlins. So if you're in Miami, Othello, you can go to a baseball game, sit behind home plate, sit in the dugout probably for $13. Those numbers are so crazy. $285 for the Rangers and $13 for the Marlins. Come on, people. Come on now. We got to be better. It's opening day. Go have some fun. March Madness is back in action tonight. Make sure you start to look at your brackets. Cover 3 Zone Challenge. That's right. We'll find the winner right now. Richie and Chloe are in first and second place, and they're going to get some great prizes if that holds true. But, of course, I want you to continue to pay attention and see what's going on. Opening day for the Round Rock Express is tomorrow. Your home of the Round Rock Express is AM 1300, The Zone. That's right, sports radio at its finest. I might be at the ballpark tomorrow. I'll let you know. I definitely will be at the game tomorrow night. VY is throwing out the first pitch. That's exciting for the Round Rock Express, and so we'll have more conversation about that. We'll recap what's happened in the NCAA tournament and so much more as we lead into the weekend. We'll also recap and preview. We'll recap Texas baseball and preview Texas women's basketball as they start their quest to get to the Final Four. As my man Khalil always does, taking care of us, I want to thank you for tuning in. Go tell 5 friends to tell 5 friends. And just remember this, don't believe everything you see because even salt looks like sugar. Peace.